Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to our class, EDUC 75 Assessment and Learning. But before we proceed to our discussion for today, allow me to announce that you'll be having your quiz number one next week. That will be on October 20 to 23. And we'll be having our midterms week as well. That will be on this October 27 to 30. So you just have to wait for the further announcement if it's a face-to-face scheduled midterm or it's an online midterm. But before that, this lesson, the rules of assessment and instructional decisions is the last topic before you proceed or before you take your midterm exam. Okay? So allow me to share my screen. Okay. Tama to share my screen. Okay. So for today's lesson, we'll be talking about the assessment. I'll be talking about the roles of assessment in instructional decisions. So let's start with the assessment. So it's a process of gathering, describing, or quantifying information about student performance. So basically, class, you're not just as a teachers, it's not about giving tests, it's about reflecting on evidence to make informed and consistent judgments that help improve a future student learning. For example, imagine you're a teacher, always remember class that you're soon to be a teacher. So dapat ang perspective nyo ay a teacher na po. Okay? So imagine a teacher reviewing students' essays. So she's not just grading, but she's identifying strengths and areas for improvement to guide future instruction. So yun po yung mga tinatawag nating assessment. So we do have a different process of assessment. We do have the paper and pencil test. When we say paper and pencil test, this is like the quizzes. So that is a paper pencil test. Extended responses, it includes the essays. Performance assessment or authentic assessment, this is like the performance task of the students. So that is more on uh, real world situations or practical tasks. So yun po yung tinatawag nating authentic assessment. Okay? So next we have the evaluation. When we say evaluation, it's a process of examining the performance of student. Also, determines whether or not the student has met the lesson instructional objectives. Of course, after you assess your students, it's important, teachers, that you know how to evaluate your students. We all know that part of your teaching or crafting your lesson plans, it includes the learning objectives of the students. So, ano para saan ba yung objectives na yon? Dito natin madadetermine if the student attained or met the lesson. Diba? At the end of this lesson, the students are expected to, diba? So, yun po yung mga tinatawag nating evaluation. For focuses on examining students' performance to determine learning objectives were met. Okay? So next we have the measurement. It's the process of obtaining a numerical description of the degree, okay, to which an individual processes particular characteristic. It answers the questions of how much. So of course, if alam na natin yung assessment, evaluation and such, it's important for us to know yan, kung kung ano ang kanilang pinaka-score or kanilang raw score doon sa inyong quiz. Okay? So are you following? Like for example, for the measurement, for instance, how many items did the student answer? Or how many students or how many items did the student answer correctly out of 20? May measurement, may number. So that is measurement. Next, we have the test. So when we say test, it's an instrument designed to measure a systematic procedure designed to measure quality, ability, and skill or knowledge of students by giving a set of questions in a uniform manner. A form of assessment which also answer the question, how does an individual student perform? It is a method used to measure the the level of achievement or performance of the learners. So ito yung tinatawag nating test. Okay, of course, we have to consider the HOTS. So when we say HOTS, it's the higher order thinking skills. Yung mga tests na yon, dapat laging kasama yun sa HOTS. Di ba, we practice teachers na lagi ng multiple uh, items or multiple choice exams na po ang binibigay for especially for the public, 'di ba? Napapansin nyo ba na ang kanilang type of assessment is multiple choice na. Why? It's because for them to practice their critical thinking skills. Okay? Hindi na tayo laging identify, enumerate, though we can still consider that as a learn of assessment of these students, but it's more on analyzing. Ganun na po ang ginagawa sa public schools. But for the long test, yes, they're allowed to, the teachers are allowed to modify their exams. Na if it's essay type, is it the type of, how do you call this? Enumeration, identification, ayan. Pero pag sa quarterly examination na po, that is more on multiple type of assessment, no? So, let me just check if it's recording. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, next, we do have the testing. It's a testing is a method used to measure the level of achievement or performance of the learners. For example, if we do have the scoring, meron tayong interpretation. Ito, interpretation na tinatawag. Why is it important? We already evaluate the student's performance. Why do we have to do the interpretation? How? For example, numerical grading, for example, the student A got 2 out of 10. Is it considered pass? 'Di ba hindi po? Ayan. Next, how about the student A, B, C got 9 out of 10. Is it considered pass? Of course, it is considered pass. Yun po yung mga parang magiging interpretation na natin. If that one to 6 is considered the lowest score. Yung 7 to 10 naman po ay yung ating possible high score. So, yun ay magiging consider nating. So, may mga interpretations po tayong tinatawag. Okay? So, I hope you're following. Next, we have the three main purposes of assessment. Ayan. So, it's really important, class, that you know how to differentiate the three main purposes of assessment in the learning process. Pag kayo ay nag-take ng boards, you'll see this. Parang laging tatanungin yan, this is the kind of assessment, ganyan, ganyan. But more on situational po tayo, ha? Okay. So, always remember the four four of us. Four of us, okay? Paano ba yung four of us? Bakit nilagay ko pa dito four as of? Okay, may process po yan. Okay, so four of us. So let's start with the assessment for learning. Occurs when teachers use inferences about student progress to inform their teaching. Formative. Ito yung pinakaunang process na ginagawa ng mga teachers, right? Next, assessment of learning muna tayo. Assessment of learning occurs when teachers use evidence of student learning to make judgment on student achievement against goals and standard. Ito na yung mga summative. Okay? Next, assessment as learning occurs when students reflect on and monitor their progress to inform their future learning goals. It's a formative. Okay? Reflection po nila yan. It's the process of learning. Doon nakikita na natin kung sila ba ay natututo or hindi. Okay? So that is four of us. Again, pag four, it's the first part. It's the progress of the student. Next is the of. Make judgment student assessment like summative exam. Assessment of as learning naman tayo, it's more on the reflection. Okay? Next, importance of assessment. Teaching and learning are reciprocal processes that depend on and affect one another. Ano ba pag sinabing reciprocal? When we say reciprocal ay naibabalik. 'di ba? Yan po yung tinatawag na ibabalik. So, how are you going to identify that, or how are you going to understand that teaching and learning are reciprocal process that depend on affect one another? Okay, for example, on a classroom basis or in a classroom setup, teachers need to assess their students first. Kung sila ba ay may idea na doon sa lesson na ituturo mo. Okay? If wala po silang idea and your topic is kinda hard or it's very challenging for them, now it's time for you to strategize na paano nila makukuha yung topic mo na yon. So, that's why we do have this kind of process of learning reteach, 'di ba? Yun po yung mga ginagawa natin. Minsan nag-quiz po ulit tayo, nag-exam po ulit tayo. But before that, of course, you have to reteach. Yun po yung process na yun. It's a reciprocal process na ibabalik ba? If natuturo mo siya ng maayos, nakukuha ba ng student ng maayos yung topic mo? Okay? So that is the importance of assessment. So assessment of component of instructional processes deals with the learning progress of the student and the teacher's effectiveness in imparting knowledge to the students. It's a vice versa scenario, di ba? If the student, for example, if the teacher can teach and for example, they make effort talaga na ito yung makatuturo ko, kung ano-anong style ang pwede kong gawin for you to learn, students can get high more grades. And we're not just talking about high grades, it's more on the knowledge that they can impart or they can get from their teachers. So it's a vice versa. It's a win-win situation. So next, assessment enhances learning in the instructional process if the result provides feedbacks to both students and teachers. Next, roles of assessment in classroom instruction. Information obtained from assessment is used to evaluate the teaching methodologies and strategies of teachers, also used to make teaching decisions. Results of assessment is used to diagnose of the learning problems of the student. Okay, going back. Okay, so where are we? Here. So we have the roles of assessment in classroom instruction. So first, we have information obtained from assessment is used to evaluate the teaching methodologies and strategies of a teacher. So, class, it's really important that we teachers assess our students. How? For example, we do have, or our students have different types of learning. Ayan, some of them are visual learner, diba? So, some of them are is like spatial learners. So, it's important for you to check ano yung best way for them to learn. Okay? That's why we do call it like different learning styles, 'di ba? So not all the students are like a great listener, you know. Some of them are just more on our written outputs talaga. They are more visual learners, something like that. Also used to make teaching decisions. Pag pumasok ka dun sa klase, you are the the center of all. What do you mean by that? So ano ba pag sinabing center of all? So sila sa makikinig ang mga estudyante sa iyo. So dapat pagpasok mo pa lang doon sa classroom, you know what is the strategy, anong klaseng strategy ang yung gagawin mo, how are you going to you know, make your students involved to the class discussions. Ayan. So, it's more on make teaching decisions. That's why we do have the lesson plan. But in reality, pag kayo ay nagtuturo na in reality, it keeps changing. Parang what do I mean keep changing? You're going to consider a lot of things whenever you're teaching. So, for example, pagpasok mo sa classroom, ano bang atake ang kanilang ginagawa? Ano ba? So, hindi sa sinasabi ko huwag ka na magturo ha. But it's more on like the strategy. What are you going to do that day? Kung ano yung the best way for them to learn. Okay? Result of assessment is used to diagnose the learning problems of the student. So, dito mo na rin makikita based on the assessment if your teaching strategy is effective for them. And you'll know or how are you going to diagnose the learning problems of the students. Baka mamaya hindi siya nakakapag-focus sa klase kasi maingay yung katabi niya, 'di ba? That's why even the sit plan is very crucial. Kasi dun, ano bang best way for them to learn? Baka pag tinabi si student A kay student C, mas okay pala yun instead of student B. You know what I mean? So, ganun po. So, roles of assessment in classroom instruction. So, we do have that five types of assessment in terms of their functional roles in relation to classroom instruction. First, we have the placement assessment. So, placement assessment concerned with the entry performance of the student. Ayan. So, to determine the prerequisite skills, degree of master of the course, objectives, and the best mode of learning. That's why we do have that kind of assessment or the placement assessment. Meron tayong mga tinatawag na diagnostic exam, 'di ba? Meron tayong mga tinatawag na ganyan. So placement assessment, pero pag sa placement assessment, sorry, chine-check ni teacher if the student is can comprehend enough doon sa grade level na meron siya or sa status niya. So malay mo si student A is super advanced. So dapat pala nasa pilot section siya. Si student B ay nasa ganito pong level. So kailangan dito natin siya ilagay kasi baka pag dito natin siya ilagay, mahirapan naman siya to catch up. So, pag dun sa student A, no, masyadong madali sa kanya yung topic, it's because yung kanyang kinagagalingan or kanyang kinalalagyan ay hindi po level doon sa kanyang learning. Okay, so that is placement assessment. Next, diagnostic assessment. This is what I'm talking about earlier. Given before instruction aims to identify the strength and weaknesses of these students regarding the topics to be discussed. So it's like, for example, you'll be having an example, a reading comprehension test to identify which students need additional reading support. In public, it's ano to ha, very uso talaga na meron tayong mga reading comprehension programs or we do have Tarabasa, something like that, na for you to assess if talaga nakakabasa ba yung student na yun for or if kaya niya magbasa based dun sa kanyang level. So that is diagnostic assessment. Next, we have the purpose of diagnostic assessment, of course, to determine the level of competence of the student, identify the students who have already knowledge about the lesson, ayan, determine the causes of learning problems to formulate a plan for remedial action. Ayan, diba? Sa teacher ay very, ano yan eh, talagang napakagaling ni teacher. May superpowers talaga sila. Paano superpowers? Bago pa kayo pumasok sa school, bago pa kayo pumasok sa room nyo, ang mga teachers alam na dapat nilang gagawin nila. Alam na dapat or somehow hindi man kayo kilala pa of course, but you know, they already strategize what kind of method they're going to use. So that is the purpose of diagnostic assessment. Of course, if we do have diagnostic, we have the formative assessment. So basically, it's for you, the teachers, for us to monitor the learning progress of the students. Ayan, during or after instruction. For example, short quizzes or graphs with teacher or with the teacher's feedback. Ayan, para may improvement agad. Hindi yun ginagawang formative assessment sa kaduluduluhan na ng ano ha, ng mga bagay-bagay. Yung mga tipong patapos na ang quarter, dun palang mag-aano. No, it's the learning progress for you to monitor the learning progress. Kasi pag the more na nakita mo agad yung problem, I think you can definitely think another way, 'di ba? Okay, next, we do have the ayan, summative assessment. Sorry, na-copy lang siya. Summative assessment usually given at the end of the course of unit. Ayan, ito na yung mga final exams, projects, or performance tasks. So what's the purpose of summative assessment? To determine the extent to which instructional objectives have been met. Ito na po, babalik po tayo dun sa learning objectives. Certify student mastery of the intended outcome and use for assigning grades, provide information for judging appropriateness of the instructional objectives, determine the effectiveness of instruction. Dito na yan makikita sa summative assessment. So next, we do have the authentic assessment, also known as work integrated assessment. Tasks and conditions are more closely aligned to what would you experience with employment. For example, creating a business proposal or experiment that reflects workplace tasks. Okay? Purpose of authentic assessment: develop student skills and competencies alongside academic development. Okay? So, for you, to check or for you to understand even more, I want you to read the types of tests and the examples. Ayan. I'm not going to read it one by one. You just have to analyze it. Ayan. Nandiyan naman po yung mga samples. So we have the placement, diagnostic, formative, and summative. Okay? So we do have other types of tests. Ayan. Ano ba to? We have the objective tests. Two or more evaluators give the examining the score. For example, multiple choice, true or false. That is objective test. Next, subjective test. Scores are influenced by the judgment of the evaluator. Yung mga evaluators na sinasabi ko, ito po yung mga teachers ha. Evaluator meaning there is no one correct answer. For example, essay tests. Ayan. But of course, before you provide your question for the test, for the essay, it's important to provide rubric as well. Ayan. Magiging questionable kasi ang pag-grade mo if you wasn't able to provide a rubric for them. Okay? Ano ba mga nilalagay sa rubric for example for essay? The content itself, the grammar, okay? So, yan po yung mga kinoconsider natin for the subjective. Next, we do have the supply test. Requires the examinees to supply an answer such as an essay test item or completion or short answer test item. Ayan, short answer questions lang po siya. Next, fixed response test requires the examinee to select an answer from a given option such as multiple choice test, matching type, true or false. Ayan po yan. Next, if individual test administered to a student one-on-one basis using oral questioning. Okay? I hope you are following class. Okay, for a while. Nawala. Next, we do have the group test. Pag group test naman, administered to a group of students. Ayan. Mga grouping, something like that. Mastery test measures the degree of mastery with a limited set of learning outcomes. Ayan, mastery, ito yung mga spelling mastery tests. Ayan. Next, survey tests, general achievement, yun yung mga NAT or national achievement tests. Speed tests, for example, typing tests, something like that. Okay, power tests measure how well students perform on progressively harder items. Depende sa difficulty or degree of difficulty. Okay? Okay, that's it for the roles. Okay, now let's proceed to the next topic, the instructional objectives and learning outcomes. I know that this is actually part of Group 1 presentation. However, I just want to include this in your midterms para meron tayong little background. But don't worry, I'm still going to grade or we are still going to watch your presentation. Okay? So medyo pahapyaw lang po tayo dito sa ating okay, instructional objectives and learning outcomes. So, first, yeah. Okay, we do have learning. Learning can be defined as a change in a student's capacity for performance as a result of experience, according to Kenneth D. Moore. The intended changes should be specified in instructional objectives. So, an objective is not a statement of what you plan to put into the lesson content, but instead a statement of what your students should get out of the lesson. So, we have the definition here of the goals and objectives. So, when we say goals, extremely broad statements that are used to describe purpose of schooling a curriculum or a course, objectives, a narrower statement, the intended learning of a unit or specific lesson. Okay, so now let's understand the differences between the instructional objectives and learning outcomes. So, according to Melton 1997, the term learning outcome is simply an alternative name for objective. Okay, so that is the learning outcome. This term have in fact often been used interchangeably. The current literature of curricular design, according to Allen, it's a replete with equivocation and obfuscation regarding the definition of educational intention. Okay, so um, we do have the places here. We have the five differences are highlighted, which have practical implications for the curriculum developer. Okay, we do have five. So here is the table for you to understand it even more. First, we have the detail of the specification. How are they going to define it pag instructional objectives and ano yung learning outcomes? Pag sa instructional objectives, yung implication, these are they are difficult and time consuming to use. Pag learning outcomes, friendly user, transparent framework, and curriculum. So sa level of specification where the emphasis is placed, ayan, and learning outcomes emphasize broad overview. And we also have the classification adopted and interrelationship. And we do have another, the intent or observable result. And last but not the least, we have the ownership. It's the main or the aims of objectives are owned by the curriculum developer. Okay, and the other one is the development and use of learning outcomes. So now let's proceed to Bloom's taxonomy. So ano bang meron kay Bloom's taxonomy? We know Bloom's. Ayan. Bloom's taxonomy is a toolbox that teachers or students can use to classify and organize learning objectives. Its most popular version based on the cognitive domain and assumes that learning should be structured from easy to difficult in the following 6 steps. So we do have the remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate. Okay. So first we have the remember. Ano ba pag sinabing remember? This is the first level we'll learn to remember. Okay? There is just a rote memorization and recollection of facts without much understanding. So when we define remember or remembering, it's the retrieving, recognizing, and recalling relevant knowledge. So as you can see, I do have an example here, a graphic example. So for example, if we will use the lemons, okay? So if we want to remember, this is the first step. We want to remember the name. Ganito pala yung name ng lemon. Lemon, the color, the shape, the size, and even how that is taste. Once we memorize these essentially meaningless facts, we have to move to the second level of learning. Eh, alam mo na kung ano yung lemon eh. Now, it's for you to understand. When we say understand, it's constructing meaning from oral, written, and graphic messages through interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, and inferring, comparing, and explaining. Now, you begin, pag dito na sa second part, you begin to decode na eh. Decode information and learn that a lemon is yellow when it's ripe to eat. Ayan. And if we take a bite, that's really super sour. Ayan. We also understand na yung lemon, lemons love sunshine and that they contain lots of vitamin C. Ayan. Diba? Marami ka nang na-understand what is lemon. Yun na yung understand part. Okay. Next, we have the apply. On the third level, we apply what we know. Applying, carrying out, or using a procedure for executing or implementing. On the third level, we understand that while lemons are sour, they are also great power for provider of a vitamin C. Ayan. So you apply this in a meaningful way. How? We could boil a lemon into a hot water. Ayan, for example, hot water and add some honey. Then serve this hot lemon to your sick sister who's in need of treatment. Pwede na natin siya ma-apply. 'Di ba? Yun na yung apply part. Next, analyze. On the fourth level, we learn to analyze, breaking material into constituent parts and determining how the parts relate to one another to an overall structure or purposes. Ayan. Dito na yung parang nag-ano ka na dyan. Nag-involves ka na examining, breaking down information, and evidence. So we study the lemon flesh, examine the skin. As you can see, nagiging scientist ng atake mo dito. Ayan. Examine the skin and look at the levels of vitamins. We conclude that we can eat everything inside. While the skin tastes bitter and contains traces of toxic, ayan, it is ought not to be consumed. Ayan. Medyo inaaral-aral mo na siya. Okay. Now we are ready to evaluate, make judgments based on criteria and standards through checking and critiquing. It should be create, ah. Sorry. Baka malito kayo. It's create. Okay. So for the evaluate, and now we analyze, critic, and compare. Then we look at the following properties like the vitamins levels, affordability, taste, packaging waste. Excuse me. If we evaluate our thoughts critically without bias, we learn that the lemons score high and where others score higher. Okay? We try to compare other things or other food. Next, last but not the least, we have the create, putting elements together to form a coherent or functional whole. Yeah, now we have learned, understood, and apply, analyze, and evaluated. Well, we are ready to create. As now we really understand lemons and we compare it to other things. Now it's easy for you to come up with a cute shop design with a good name, Sweet Lemons, natural, healthy, yummy. Ayan. So that's great. So, yun po yung tinatawag na Bloom's taxonomy. So, Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of the different objectives and skills that educators set for their students, otherwise known as the learning objectives. Ito yung pinopose ni Benjamin Bloom. Actually, there's like a revised version of it, so I'll be including supplementary videos as well for you to watch. Okay? So these six levels can be used to structure the learning objectives, lesson, and assessments of your course. Ayan. Okay. All right. Okay. Going back. So, yun lang naman ang ating topic for today. So, by the way, like what I said, there's like a revised version 2001. It's like the backbone presented or meaning teaching philosophies as well. So, I hope you understand this lesson for today. So, again, let's have a quick recap for the roles of assessment in instructional decisions. Always remember, effective assessment leads to better teaching and meaningful learning. Diba? Ganun naman lagi. So, and for the Bloom's taxonomy, always remember the six. Okay? The six classifications. So, that's it for today. If you don't have any questions, or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me, or you can definitely message or chat to our group chat. Yun naman ang purpose ng group chat natin para may makapagsalita naman dun. Okay? So, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a good bye.